So we're going to start by correcting the yellow-green tone in the rocks on the left. I'm going to do this by using the Selective Color tool. And I'm doing this because it's the least likely to affect other areas and other tonalities in the rock. So what I'm going to do is go up to the adjustments here. I'm going to go to the yellows, and all I'm going to do is add a little bit of magenta to it. Now if I take that way off to the top, ooh, way too much. Just a little bit there. And I'll maybe take down the cyan just a little bit as well. Now that is over the top, I think. About there. So not a lot of adjustment, and even then it's probably too much. But that's okay. One of the joys of working with layers is we can now make changes. So I'm going to use the Command I to invert the current white mask for this selective color layer. You see it's now changed to black over on the right hand side of the screen. Our adjustments to the rocks have disappeared. I'm going to go over and choose Brush and select about 30% opacity by hitting the 3 key on the keyboard. And I'm going to adjust the size of the brush using the right square bracket on the keyboard, or left if I need to get smaller, and about there. And so now I'm just going to add a little bit of warmth. Needs quite a bit up here. That's actually pretty good. Maybe even that's a little more than I actually want. Now notice that up here I can add a lot, and it doesn't do much for the rocks that are gray, but the rocks are tan, got a little bit more color. I'm just going to undo some of that up here. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is go back over and I'm going to adjust the layer opacity slider. So if I go down to 0, I'm back to yellow-green rocks. If I go to 100%, almost a little too much reddishness. So what if we take it back down to something in between? I kind of like there, about 50%. And even then, I think it's just a little too red right there. So I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to flip the brush to black by hitting the X key. I'm going to increase the opacity to 100% by hitting the 0 key. And well, no, maybe I'm going to leave it at 50%. And then I'm just going to come back in there. Magnifique. And I've just taken out a little bit of the too much redness there. And now I quite like the effect, but maybe I can actually afford now to go up a little higher overall. There we go. Now we're at 70%. And that's how I adjust the colors of the rock.